Jay right in your face.
Welcome back to the Faedaway podcast, episode number 30.
Steph Curry,
baby.
Curry,
Del Curry, all the Currys. Except for Seth.
Seth wears like 3. He bounces around. I think he's wearing multiple numbers.
I don't know. I don't have it at the top of my head. I don't want to assume because I made a fool of myself before. Nonetheless, we are brought to you by the Ball is Life Podcast Network. I'm your host, Fatty. I got my boy Zayd here with me. We are back in front of the cameras.
Yeah.
I know it's been a bit
Took a
since
week
y'all
off
seen
on
these
front of
beautiful
the cameras.
faces. Took a week off from the cameras, but did not take a week off from the content because
Not at all.
it ain't easy being the content kings.
And there's a lot to talk about. Always is a lot to talk about, especially on this time, man.
I'm not gonna lie to you though, it's dwindling a little bit.
Slowing down.
It's kind of sad
down,
because it's a telling tale because there are 2 teams now remaining. We are headed to the NBA Finals, but let's unpack a little bit, man. Actually, you know what? Why don't we just tell the people we went on a bike ride, you know. Kicked our behind today. I think the wind was a little crazy, but
It was
how was your
working against
weekend,
us.
man? Happy Canada Day. Happy 4th of July. Can I even say Happy Canada Day?
Well, we'll go with it for now.
Happy 1st of July. Happy 4th of July. Happy all the Julys. But how's your weekend, man? How's your long weekend?
It was good, man. It was long. It's still going. Today's the last day of the week of the weekend, but it's nice to have a good break. It sucks that now even the games are slowing down. There's not as many games going on because of the finals and the semis are done. But it was good. How about you?
Man, it was nice. It was. I got a lot of cycling done this weekend.
Yeah,
I call it biking, but people say cycling, and I feel like they're kind of politely telling me, "Yo, it's not biking. Like we're not kids anymore." So I cycled this weekend, and I enjoyed being outside, man. Just I'm happy that summer's here.
Yeah,
Gotta enjoy all 30 minutes of it.
It wasn't raining as bad as we thought it would be the whole week. It was
Yo,
sometimes.
listen, I had a beef because I put out a tweet. Like, you can Google Maps if I'm going like 6 hours away.
Yeah.
To the to the minute they'll get my ETA down.
Right. But they can't get the weather down.
But they can't get the weather down, bro. Like, every day, rain all day. No, it isn't, Doug. I mean, weather. No, it isn't. But anyways, let's unpack. Because there's a lot of NBA stuff to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, man, the finals is here. So let's start with the Western Conference Finals because that one's since the last time we talked, it was a 3-1 series when we were last on here.
Yeah.
So pretty much just dead in the water. At that point, though, I'm not gonna lie to you, 3-1 series are tricky because you give up that game and you go down 3-2.
It changes the series. Still.
Buddy, does it test you?
Yeah.
And with those young guys, like, you start to question, right? So what did you see from those games? Because the Clippers won the game right after we recorded, and then Phoenix killed it a couple days later. But what did you see?
I thought Phoenix was going to close it out that game. I thought they had the momentum. Everything was good. Chris Paul doesn't want to mess around with 3-1. So I thought he'd come out the gate strong. But the Clippers found a way to win the game, and they fought. And they PG kept his head high.
The best playoffs performance of his career.
Yeah, so he knew what they needed to do in order to win that elimination game, and they won. But obviously, ended in 6 games. The Suns look more ready for that game 6. So, like, you know what? It's down to business now. Like, maybe game 5 they've been nervous, especially with Chris Paul fumbling all 3-1s, 0-2s, whatever it may be. So they went on to win it. And I want to talk about the last game at the end of the game when Pat Bev pushed CP in the back. It was, like,
do you expect anything less?
He gives me reasons to hate him. Like, you're at this point, you're just tossing them in front of me right on my lap, right? So, honestly, what I hated about that was that he's been talking the most crap the whole series, and then when someone says something to him, and he's like, "Bro, lose with class,
gracefully."
Lose gracefully. Don't be a sore loser about it." He apologized on Twitter after the fact, but even that was like a weak apology.
Yo, that was a weird apology. He's like, "It's not for you, so who's it for?"
Yeah, it was a weak apology.
I feel like we're misunderstanding some lingo here.
Maybe some lingo, but even then, like, bro, like, it just it didn't seem genuine. But that's the kind of guy he is, man. Like, bro, you can't lose your head.
He got suspended for it.
He deserves that. That push, like, yeah, sure, it's just a push, but that can just cause any sort of like harm. You never know. There's people around him. He can go knee on knee, head to knee with somebody. Whatever could happen. So, He deserves a suspension.
He's missing one game whenever he's eligible to play. But I want to just talk about Game 5 for a second, because before we destroy the Clippers, I want to give some flowers out. Because PG balled down, man. He had 41 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists. He missed 4 shots the whole night, or 5 shots. He was 15 of 20.
Yeah,
that is an incredible way to come out. And honestly, you know, like, prior to 5 years ago, the 3-1 comeback thing was archaic, right? It never happened.
Yeah.
And then you have, like, in the last 5 years, it just keeps happening, right? Like, if every playoffs, I feel like we've had a 3-1 comeback. I don't know if we've had one this playoffs yet.
No, not yet.
But last playoff, Denver did it twice.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have the Clippers gave one up. The Warriors gave one up. Yeah. Like, it's starting to happen more and more, right? So, especially with a young team, you go down 3-2. Paul George is unstoppable.
Yeah.
Not just that. Marcus Morris, 22 points. Reggie Jackson, 23 points. Yeah. DeMarcus gave him 15 off the bench. Good minutes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. I was getting a little shooketh because you got a lot of first-timers. You got Mikal Bridges. You got Devin Booker. You got DeAndre Ayton. You got and one thing I want to say about Ayton, Game 5, who didn't play? Zubats.
Yeah.
And they were forced to go small.
Yeah.
And it worked.
He was unplayable at that
Ayton
point.
struggled that game. I want to get his stat line up right now. Ayton had 10 points. He was minus 22 that game.
Yeah.
He was really struggling. So
he just wasn't getting the looks. And
took 9 shots.
He just wasn't getting in the proper positions to play his game. It was tough for him.
All these things combined, I was shaking in my boots. I was like, you know what? This sounds to me like it could very well turn into a 3-1 comeback.
Yeah.
But then
back from 0-2, they've been in comeback situations, right?
But then Game 6 happens, and the greatness.
Oh wow.
The ageless wonder, Christopher Paul. Is it Christopher? I wonder. Is it Christian? I don't know. Chris Paul.
41.
Wow.
He goes off. He ensures they win that game.
What a game. 41 points, 16 of 24. What did you see from CP that game? He had 31 in the second half.
Just dominance, man. He came out with the will to win, and that's what was missing from Game 5. He just didn't come out with that same fire, that same energy. He played with that sense of urgency. He played his game, and he just dominated. Chris has those times where, he's like a pass first kind of guy. He's known to be a great playmaker, but when he wants to win, he's just going to take the ball in his hands and he's going to go hoop and he's going to kill it. So he played pretty much like a perfect game, especially from the standpoint where, that's what you want from a closeout game. That's what you want from your leader. So deserved it. He just, demolished everybody.
You see the post-game interview, they're like, I think it was Rachel Nichols, and she asked him, she was like, what was going through your mind? You had 31 points in the second half. Like, things, they kind of did start a little slow.
Yeah.
And she said, what was the attitude you had? And he's like, the can't lose attitude.
Yeah.
Or must win attitude or something along those lines.
Yeah.
But just saying, like, I can't lose this game.
He needs it.
Because I'm telling you, if you lose that game, the momentum swings all the way to the team that made the comeback.
Of course.
And I think at that point, sorry, they would have been home in Phoenix, right? A couple things too. D-Book, 22 points. He did shoot a little bit inefficiently.
Yeah, he's had a roller coaster of a series this series.
But I'll tell you what, man, he takes 26 shots. He's not afraid to take a shot.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
And he's the kind of guy who can go 0 for 10. And when you need those last 3 shots, he can go 2 for 3.
He'll hit, yeah.
And that's just who D-Book is. And you need a guy with that confidence mixed with a guy with CP's composure. But I want to ask you a question, bro. Because I feel like it's going to, again, everything I say, they're going to say you're a hater. You hate greatness.
Yeah.
I already know Hanna's going to feel some type of way. You're first Kyle, now Chris, you're a hater. But I want to ask you something, man. Because you're a Chris Paul guy, right?
No, but I
we appreciate him.
I appreciate him, yeah.
Is Chris Paul getting what's the word of when you become innocent of your Kira, what is it, the word when you're like innocent of something, when you're freed of the charges of something?
Bro.
Whatever. Are people giving Chris Paul too much credit for Phoenix's success and also giving too much flack to James Harden, Blake Griffin, his former teammates, saying it was their fault that they couldn't do it because look what he's doing now? Because I feel like there's a lot of these guys are getting destroyed on one hand but also like
He's
D-Book has been here for time. D-Book did the legwork. D-Book was there when they were the worst team in the league.
yeah.
And everyone's talking about CP. Do you feel like I'm hating,
CP
or is this deserved because of his legacy?
Man, sometimes the stars just have to align for a team, and that's what makes it. CP coming to Phoenix, no doubt, helps them a lot. Reuniting with Monty helps them a lot. They've been together already, so like CP just coming alone and changing the attitude of the team. Ayton has credited him for changing his work ethic, for being hard on him, and I'm sure it's not just DeAndre and that benefited from that. So I don't like the latter half where it's like, okay, CP went to this team and look what he could do. These guys went to this team and now they're all duds. Now they're all out. Bro, it's so
definitely
hard.
an interesting point.
It's an interesting point, but it's so hard. The stars have to align for you to win. Like, that team built in Phoenix is like the perfect team in Phoenix.
Okay, but listen. From the perspective of he had beef with Blake, and that is what caused the Clippers. Man. That is on record. That's factual history. Mm-hmm. And then now you look at Blake 4 years later, he sucks. Chris Paul's still balling out. Yeah. And then he had, the issues with Harden. They couldn't play together. That's ultimately why he ended up getting traded. Mm-hmm. And where's Harden at now? Partnered up with, two of the best players in the league. Mm-hmm. And again, fat, out of shape. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's an interesting point, man, because CP right now, but I think that side of it, I don't have as much of an issue with because I like to ruffle feathers.
Yeah.
But I think, man, like D-Book needs to be the guy here. And then if not more than CP, then just as much as CP. I understand his journey as a player, but when you talk about Phoenix, like
it's D-Book.
This is the Suns, like 3 years ago, we were laughing at them, bro. If they came up on the pot, I guarantee we scoffed. Like, the Suns. If they came up.
You know what's really going to help establish that is who gets Finals MVP. That is going to help establish who gets.
You know what's going to help us out? We should get Tom on the show.
It's he'll tell you.
Completely unbiased opinion.
But that getting the Finals MVP is a big deal, man. If you don't, like Steph, one of the biggest things for Steph
CP's going to get his storyline, bro. Storyline beats everything.
So
and you think about it, D-Book he's early in his career.
D-Book has to ball out to get MVP. Like,
but do you think
40 a game?
3-4 years down the line, we're going to look back at it and be like, this is exactly like Iguodala getting it over Steph Curry?
No, I don't think so. Because Chris Paul's a legend. Like, if he just gets 20 and 10 and win, he's gonna get the MVP. It's much easier for him just because, like you said, the storyline is there. He's been around. He's been doing this. He's the leader on that team. He's already got it made for him. D-Book has to ball out to even come close to winning it.
Another interesting question for you. So one guy that's interesting stat line to note: 6 for 11, 19 points. Who am I? 5 threes that game. Who am I on the Phoenix Suns? Hint. I only make the playoffs wherever I go. Jay Crowder
he's a
needs
big deal, man.
to be talked about a little bit more because Jay Crowder, wherever Jay Crowder goes,
he wins.
He ends up being in the playoffs and playing. And he was just in the finals last year. He's back in the finals this year.
Yeah.
Is Jay Crowder the X factor for this team in the finals?
Definitely one of them. I mean, if he's firing and he's playing well, he's for sure an important piece, man. They rely on him a lot defensively and just to knock down threes, man. There's so many times where CP is doubled, D-Book is doubled, and they need a three, they need a shot, and he hits him in the corner, he hits him on the wings.
His confidence is key.
He's a guy you'd love to have on that team. So if he's hitting and he's firing, man, like that's a big deal. But they have so many X factors on their team that can step up at any point. Bridges can step up at any point. Even Torrey Craig will have moments where he can step up at some point. Congratulations to him. He's a champion. Campaign will step up.
Yo, we got to shout out our boy Abdel Nader, bro.
He played good minutes, bro. He played great minutes,
Alf Mabruk, Habibi.
Wow,
Alf Mabruk.
Wow.
The Egyptian native. Born in Alexandria.
Yeah, that's hilarious, man. That's
born in Alexandria. Like our boy PK. Shout out to Skindarea.
He played great minutes, man, defensively especially. He was
they love him, bro. CP comments on his picks.
Yeah. So
Can you imagine, though, being the random Egyptian guy who just moved here? You're on a team with CP. You're going to the finals. Like, that's incredible,
He's living the life, man. He's living the dream.
This guy beat all the odds, man. I need to know what his dad did.
But
Uncle, kalemni.
No, like, man, they have so many X factors, so many guys who know how to play their roles and can play it well. They're a deep team, so it's for sure. Jay is for sure one of the biggest ones, and there's so many guys who can be X factors on that team.
Interesting thing I want to know too in the post game speech when they were getting their trophy.
Yeah.
They asked CP like his main reasons for why he came to Phoenix. Obviously, he ended up saying D-Book is the main reason I came. He got that light skinned dude over there, D-Book. But he mentioned an interesting name, bro. He mentioned I think it was Etwan Moore or Langston Galloway. It was one of those two names, and he's mentioned both of them throughout the year. But it makes you just think, man, like the 8th to 9th guy on the team can recruit a guy like CP. Like you have Ayton, you have Bridges, you have he ended up saying Jay Crowder, but you have all these guys.
Yeah. And
it comes down to like an Etwan Moore, like a seasoned professional, and I think the role of the vets is
huge still, man.
Huge,
it's
and it's showing because both sides have great vets, man.
Yeah, I agree. And what I remember was saying when Chris Paul first went there in the beginning of the year, I'm like, man, it's a great move for the Suns, great move for Chris, but I want him to go to a championship contender. I was like, they're not gonna make that much noise, but
they're the favorite.
They're the favorite in the finals, so it turned out to be a great move, and that's what I mean by all the stars fitting into place, man. Like what a line! Like you go back, reunite with Monty, legendary coach. You guys had your time back like 10 years ago. 10 years ago, come back, lead a team of young guys, finals. Like sometimes literally that's the amount of luck it takes to win. It's insane.
Yeah, 100%. Congratulations to the Phoenix Suns. We're gonna recap the finals in a little bit, but let's move on and talk about the Eastern Conference Final Series. Or actually, you know what? Before we get there, let's talk about Phoenix or the Clippers' future. Yeah, because I think they have a lot of things that they got to decide come this offseason. So a couple things to note: Kawhi is a free agent this offseason.
Is it a player option?
Yeah,
I believe it's player option.
Yeah, but I mean, he's injured all the time. He's gonna want to take that deal, so he's expected to decline his option and take that. Take a look at free agency. A lot of people think he's gonna re-up, so that's one interesting thing. Reggie Jackson is up for a payday that I don't know that they can afford, so they might end up watching him walk away.
Yeah.
So I want to know, man, like if you're Steve Ballmer right now, you did what you did for the last 2 years. Kawhi comes with a certain amount of baggage in terms of his neediness, his constant injury, he's a diva. Like I don't know, it is what it is. He's the biggest diva in the NBA. Do you re-up Kawhi or do you try to test free agency and get someone else to pair up with PG? Because at this point, LA is a hot market, and whether you want to call it the Clippers, whatever, floppers, whatever you want to call them, they've been relevant for at least 10 years now.
Yeah.
So you can definitely try to attract some talent. Where would you go as Ballmer?
Man, sometimes it does more harm than good to bring on a superstar like Kawhi, man. Like the demands, the displeasure with the training people, the training staff. He doesn't even sit on your bench when he's injured. He goes sits in the royal
mind-blowing
royal box seats. So it's like, yo, what good does this guy do for your team? I get it. He's a superstar player, top 5 when healthy in the NBA. It's debatable, but what do you do when he's not playing, and then what do you do when he has all these demands, and then you also have to deal with him not playing as many games or many minutes as in the regular season? So is he a championship guy? Does he want to?
Ironic, because he is really a championship guy, but at this point in his career,
is he
a
still?
Fair question.
Is he still right? And I don't.
Is he worth all the marbles?
I don't. Yeah.
And then you look at the first round and what he did in the first round, and you're like, man, this guy is special.
He's so good though. That's the problem. It's like a tear. Like you're torn.
Also, it's a little bit sketchy that we really don't know anything about this injury. Like he's keeping it
under wraps,
very under wraps, and are you even allowed to do that come free agency? Because I feel like you have to disclose this stuff if someone's about to offer you a contract.
If another team is going to offer you it, for sure, I assume you're going to have to.
They got to do a physical anyways, so they'll find everything out there. But
the Clippers will know, but it's like, if I'm Steve Ballmer, I also just can't see you getting someone better than Kawhi. And that's where the main issue is. Like, who are you really going to get to come to play with PG that's better than Kawhi in the league? KD's not coming. LeBron's not coming. Giannis is not coming.
Bradley Beal?
Kawhi?
I know, I get it.
At least you'd be getting Bradley for probably a cheaper price than you would be getting Kawhi.
But it's a fair thing to ask. Where is he at now, career wise? Is he going to come back from this? Is he going to be able to play
I think he'll be fine. Just a regular injury, but it's just like he doesn't seem like he wants to play, man.
Is it though? Because a lot of people for a bit were like, "Oh, the ACL structural," and then we don't know it's a sprain.
No, he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine. He looked
tough,
fine.
He didn't play.
If I'm Bomber at this point, you're not gonna get better than a Kawhi Leonard. So you're gonna roll the dice. At least he's gonna sell you tickets. At least he's gonna bring people. He's gonna bring people to the games. He might not play all of them, but he'll still bring people to the games. There'll still be hype around the Clippers. And that's the end goal for a guy like Bomber. Obviously, he wants to win. This guy's the most passionate dude in the world. But you as crappy as it is to have him on the team, you re-sign him. You can't do any better than him.
Yeah. Do you think he stays?
Yeah, it's LA, bro. He wants to be in LA.
I just don't think he has that fiery passion to go and start up somewhere else.
He has no problem with a second round exit. No problem with any round exit. No problem with the first round, third round, whatever it may be. So he's just there. He's playing well. He's a superstar when he wants to play, and then he collects his checks, right? It doesn't look like he wants to play or want to start something new, like you said, and be away from home. So you sign him, that's it.
Yes, sir. Let's talk about the Eastern Conference Final. Recap it. So last time we came on here, I foolishly said, Atlanta's not winning another game again.
Of course.
And then what happens the next night? They win Game 4. I texted you in quotations, they're not going to win another game, as in like I'm clowning myself.
Yeah.
Because I tend to do that before people clown me. But, man, they won Game 4, and I was very surprised. Trae Young didn't play. So let's go through it because I think that they had a lot of different guys step up that game. Kevin Huerter, Lou Will had a big game. Bogdanovich had a big game.
Started the game.
Clint Capella. Then you had Cam Reddish off the bench. Cam Reddish he came back, and he's been impressive.
I love that he's getting an opportunity. He hasn't gotten an opportunity since February, and he's one of those guys who was drafted in the lottery and had a lot of hype. And a lot of people thought he can do well, and Nate, I think Nate, people have talked about Nate giving him confidence.
Oh, Nate said he reminds him of a young Paul George.
Yeah, and he had, I think, 21 in the elimination game.
He did, yeah. He had double digits in pretty much every game he played, right. But
so that's a great sign for the team, man. That team going forward is going to stay special. But it's scary
because payday is going to be scary for all these young kids, man.
And
Okwangwu,
John Collins,
Okongwu, Herder, this kid, Johnny.
John turned on 90 million. He's going to get over 100.
Bogey.
He's going to get 110 or something.
Bogey's already on a contract. Anyways.
I don't know. Is he on contract or no?
Yeah, they got him last year.
Okay. That's the thing. They have a really great, deep, young team. We'll see who's due for a payday. We know for sure right now John Collins is due for a payday. He's going to get paid this summer. How much are they going to pay? Trae will get that money. Herder, I think maybe they can convince to stay for cheaper. They could probably get him for cheaper. I'm sure he'll continue to kind of be an asset for that team. But Okwangwu.
Watch Cam Reddish be a James Harden situation.
That would be wild. That would be wild.
That would be very interesting.
He's got the great build. He's got the athleticism.
Slow rookie year, but he played a great second year.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he was hurt. DeAndre Hunter was hurt. Another young guy who might need to get paid.
Yeah.
But yeah, very good drafting. Very good position for Atlanta to be in. I think they can make another run next year.
It's a good problem to have too much talent, to be honest. At least you get to pick and choose.
Yeah.
You know, sure, you might go wrong with one or two, whatever, but it's definitely a good problem to have. And for a guy like Nate McMillan, you bring him back on a 4-year deal. They signed him today, right?
Yep.
Pretty much today.
Congratulations, Nate.
Congrats, Nate. He deserves that. You know, so a young guy a great coach to stay with a young core to grow and develop the young core. I think it's great. They're gonna have a great future.
Absolutely, man. And then Game 5 and 6, just as we had expected, just as we had predicted prior to the Game 4 mishap.
The Bucks didn't come out in Game 4. You know what I mean? The Hawks were playing hungry, playing like they had to win. And
also, the Bucks, like Giannis got hurt in Game 4, so that could have been a thing on their minds as well. And it ended up coming down to the wire, but actually it didn't really come down to the wire at all. But yeah, Game 5 and 6, they took care of business. Giannis didn't play.
Yeah.
And boy, did that unlock a couple guys. Drew Holiday, 25 points, 13 assists in Game 5.
Finally.
26 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists. 2 steals, 1 block for Chris Middleton, who, again, caught fire. Brook Lopez, 33 points, 7 rebounds. And Bobby Portis, the man of the hour. They're chanting Bobby in the building. Bobby Portis, ironically enough, playing the same role that Mirotic used to play for the Bucks.
Hilarious.
22 points, 8 rebounds.
Incredible.
Shot 9 for 20, so it's impressive that they're giving him 20 touches, but man,
it's a lot.
Bobby Portis has been an amazing add-on this series, and I think you know what? Charles said it, and it kind of sounds cruel. I don't fully agree with it, but he did say something about Giannis' injury is like the best thing that happened for unlocking Drew Holiday and unlocking these guys, because Drew Holiday killed it in the elimination game. They just came out and they weren't about to lose it. They were like, we're gonna make the finals today. It's set in stone for us. Drew Holiday had 27 points, 9 assists in that game. Chris Middleton, 33 points. Again, had like 16 straight to start the third quarter. His runs have been insane.
So, he's good. He's not streaky, but he can just catch fire.
Yep.
And he can take over a quarter for you, take over a time period for you. And he can, his offensive game is really good, man. He can shoot from anywhere on the floor. He can get to the basket.
Yeah, I think just
great handle for a guy his size.
To Charles's point, I think what he's saying is it does, when Giannis is on the court, there's an onus to get him the ball.
Yeah.
He's Giannis.
Yeah.
So all these guys, they stand around. They don't really do as much.
Yeah.
But when it's like, okay, he's not here, we got to step up and do our thing. That's when you see the depth in this team. You get 3-4 guys that can get you 20 points. That's a great position to be in. Giannis, I think there was a report that he made significant strides.
Yep.
But there's a chance that he doesn't play. So when we talk predictions, we'll look into that. But man, shout out to the Atlanta Hawks. What a Cinderella story of a season. To get your coach fired and you were under 500, and then to get to have an interim coach, turn it around, win 20 games above 500, go to the conference final. Trae Young had a magnificent run. He got his bag. John Collins,
no doubt.
all these guys. It's just good to see. It's good for the league to see a mid-market team get to that level and to see the youth, man. Shout outs to Atlanta. They have nothing to hang their heads on, even if they lost 4-0.
Yeah.
And
Trae couldn't even play the full series, too.
He got hurt, man.
So it's
and they were missing DeAndre Hunter. I think fully healthy, they make a run.
They make a run for sure. Yeah.
Who knows? I want to ask you, though, heading into the offseason, what's your priority? I know we already talked about Nate.
They got done. Great.
Now it's the unspeakable. Not unspeakable. The word is, I don't know the word. I'm off on my words today, bro. I'm very slow. But definitely John Collins is the obvious one that we're going to go with there. So do you give him everything?
He wants everything.
Do you hold back, let him walk, and go somewhere else?
No, he made that clear. He wants everything, and he played like he was everything for that team too. So you said earlier in the year or maybe in the middle of the year that you saw him becoming like a Paul George kind of guy. I think that's what you were talking about. You're talking about Johnny being able to develop a full offensive game, and adding that to his athleticism. I think he can do it. I think he can be a great wing to have. He plays that that wing to 4 position. He rebounds really well, plays really hard. If he just adds more to his offensive game, he adds a jump shot and adds mid range, he can be a star in the league, man. So he turned down 90. He's gonna get 110 was whatever, $100 million deal for sure. So they have to, man. They have to re him up.
Do you think that this is a fluke run, like a Miami Heat-esque run, or do you think that these guys can come back and make it back to the conference finals, or at least? Depending on who they play,
so compete, they can make
be a competitive team.
They can be a competitive team, man. I think they can still do it. They convincingly beat the Knicks. I guess it depends where they match up in the standings. If the Knicks ever make it to that high again, I think it's fourth in the East.
When you really think about it, the Hawks went from a team that would be happy with a first-round exit to a team that now probably wants a second-round minimum.
Yeah, and they beat a tough Sixers team, man. That was convincing too. So I don't know if they'll be making the Eastern Conference Finals consistently. There's still a bunch of teams that can still be good. The Heat, who knows if they have a better season, if they add guys, if they become healthier, they give teams a runs for the money. The Sixers, who knows what changes they'll make. So there's a bunch of teams in the mix for that Eastern Conference Finals spot. So, but I do think a realistic expectation going forward is a second round. Making it to the second round, I think they're definitely capable of doing that. And this year is great experience for them.
So what do you grade them?
Oh, like
A++?
I'll give them A+. A+, like they overachieved heavily. They turned it around heavily. Eastern Conference Finals, like that's ridiculous.
Look,
good for them, man.
There's a man that's he's known for grading pizzas, and he says you can never give a 10 because
there's no room for
there's no room for improvement. So I can't give an A+ personally.
Yeah.
Because what's better than A+? You can get
A++.
Not really. This isn't private school.
Yeah.
That's a low-key funny joke, bro. I was expecting a little bit more of a laugh because, Anyways, let's talk about the finals, man.
What's your grading? What's your grading before we go on?
My grading for
After
them?
all that, you don't give us a grading, bro? Come
A-.
on. Geez. A-. Okay.
Because they definitely overachieved, but I think that there's things that they can do to tweak and get better.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about that with regards to what Trey's got to do, and then give him a full season with this coach and this roster and healthy and an off season, and who knows what these kids can do, and just give Trey time to heal and that experience and going through a game 7 and going through comebacks and all of that builds the character. So that's great. It was a great run for them. Let's talk finals, bro.
Yeah.
The NBA Finals is among us. The Phoenix Suns, their first trip since 1993. The Milwaukee Bucks, first trip since 1973. Fun fact, the last time the Milwaukee Bucks made the finals, they had a guy on their team named Lou Alcindor.
That's how back it was.
Sir, who is Lou Alcindor referred to as today?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
They ended up, I believe, winning that finals, and then he requested a trade
to the Lakers.
And
You're
everyone knows Kareem as the Laker guy. He became the best or the number one
scorer
points in all of NBA history.
The Skyhook.
The Skyhook. They're back, man. And let's talk. First things first, I want to talk about the fan experience because this is so sentimental for us Raptors fans.
It's reminiscent of
when we made our run and we made the finals for the first time.
Yeah.
But which fan base are you most happy for? Are you happy for the fan base that endured a team that was absolute trash, the bottom of the barrel in the league?
Yeah.
Finally make the finals, or are you more hyped for the fan base that was on the door every year and knocking, had a good team, disappointed every year, and is finally there? Because those are two different experiences.
I don't know. I think we relate better to the Bucks fan experience because the Raptors for a long time were that team knocking on the door, LeBron again, and not being able to get over that hump, and then obviously you trade for Kawhi and LeBron leaves the conference, then bam, you break through and you win. So that is the experience I most relate to, but I personally want the Suns to win, so I'm gonna go with their fans. Like, their team was bottom of the league for years, and even when they did have MVPs like Steve Nash, they still couldn't get over the hump, right? So I'm happy for their fans, man. Like, it's a dope experience. Imagine that roller coaster of going from the worst team in the league, almost making the playoffs in the bubble, and then making the finals that next year. Like, that's crazy. That's a crazy turnaround.
You know what? It's hard for me to decide which fan base I think deserves it a little bit more because you can make the case from both perspectives. I think fans that endure garbage teams are definitely it's tough on them. But it's interesting because if you ask from a player's perspective, like, am I more happy for the Bucks who finally made that push, or am I happy for the Suns? I gotta go with the Bucks here because, and I was telling you this off air, but I gotta go with the Bucks, man. Like, I believe you have to do your time. Like, you have to do your time. Chris Paul did his time, but D-Book, Ayton, Bridges, all these guys, Chris Paul and Jay Crowder did their time, but all these other guys, main guys on the team, did not do their time.
Yeah.
Giannis, Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, Drew Holiday, these guys have done their time. And now they're making that push. Like, they got there. I'm so happy for these guys over here.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not happy for the Phoenix Suns. I just think they're a little spoiled right now. I think these fans are a little spoiled. They didn't get the like, when you think about the Raptors run, right? We had the first round exit against the Nets. We're like, you know what? We're here.
We made it.
It's the playoffs. It doesn't matter. We don't care. Then the next year you get swept. You're like, bruh, what? Like, what? And then you have expectations, and you start knocking on the door, and then you make big trades, and then same thing with the Bucks, man. First round exit against us, we kicked them out in the first round. Then they come back and Giannis MVP and chokes in the playoffs. Then they signed Drew Holiday, and now they're finally here. The fan base is it feels like a friend of the show, Steve Sabatini, made it to the local Milwaukee News, saying, I've waited my whole life for this, 34 years. His voice cracked because he was about to cry. But shout out to Steve, man. Congratulations to the Bucks. Both fan bases, I think, deserve it. Both sets of players deserve it.
Yeah.
Who do you think, or what's your pick for the finals?
This is a really, really tough one. This one is.
Let's do a prediction. Sans Giannis, and then with Giannis. So we're assuming he's not gonna play. or he's gonna. Okay, here's
There's
the other.
no way
So
he's not gonna play.
he either doesn't play or he plays at 70% or less.
There's no. I don't believe in like my heart that he's not gonna play. There's no way Giannis is gonna go to a finals and not play. Maybe he'll miss a game one just to get the knee right, but to be out for a series, there's no way. Like he wants it. You can tell he wants it. He's so happy to be there. This is a very hard finals to predict. Both teams are great defensively. Both teams have different amounts of firepower in different spots. Right, you know the forward position for the Bucks is amazing. They don't really have a good 2 guard though, but the Suns have a great 2 and a great 1. So I'm okay. Giannis at 70%. I think the Suns will take that one, and they would take that one in 6 games. Giannis at not, or you want to go Giannis and not playing at all, or do you want to go
70 or less?
It's tough. It's a very tough decision. 70 or less, the Suns take it. If he's better than 70, the Bucks take it in 6. I think with Giannis healthy, I don't see the Suns being able to kind of withstand his dominance.
I've known you for a long time. I respect you.
Yeah,
You're wrong, I think. I don't think it matters. I think whichever way you slice it, Phoenix is the better team.
really? Wow,
And that's primarily
interesting.
To me, that's primarily
I thought you were gonna go
because-
Bucks.
I'll tell you why. And it's not because of talent, because I think the Bucks have tons of talent.
Yeah,
When you talk depth, I think Phoenix has better depth. I think their bench is a little bit better.
yeah.
You get the Saric's off the bench, the Campaigns off the bench, a couple other guys I'm forgetting about. But it starts at the top with Bud and Monty. And Monty Williams just played a series against the number 1 adjusting coach in the NBA, in Ty Lue.
Yeah.
That's what he's known for. He's made incredible comebacks. He head coached the 3-1 comeback in the finals.
Yeah.
He head coached the Clippers in a couple comebacks this year. So there's no doubt he makes his adjustments. He's a smart guy. And every single time he adjusted, Monty came back and he readjusted. What's one thing that Bud doesn't do?
Does not adjust, but maybe that will be Monty's Achilles heel. You don't know. Doubt it. But that'll be if that were to work out.
I personally think that it's going to come down to that because I think there's so much strategic coaching that takes place in the finals and adjustments that need to happen. And because here, like when I envision this, Brook Lopez, when Giannis is on the court, is a 7-3 shooting guard.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to take Ayton out of the key because I think that they can press up other guys on him. Like he's not really a threat. Like to me, he's like their 4th offensive option if Giannis is on the court.
Mm-hmm.
Ayton stays in the paint. He's a pretty good paint defender, 7-footer. He might disturb a little bit.
There's a possibility there, yeah.
And especially if Giannis is, at the end of the day, I don't think he's going to be 100%.
He's not going to be 100%. I agree with
It's
that.
it's not going to be 100%. So if he's playing in the back of my mind, I'm trying to avoid structural damage at all costs. DeAndre Ayton might really cause some problems. Now, I, in the last series, had sort of passively predicted that John Collins would give him some problems. That didn't happen at all. But I think, Ayton's a 7-footer. The numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
He's 7'2". That's just what it is. So, I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting series. One thing to really look out for, in my opinion, is D-Book and Drew Holiday, because I think that's going to be an interesting matchup for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Another one is if they put Drew Holiday on Chris, PJ Tucker on Booker.
Yeah.
They have a lot of different naggy options to throw at Booker.
Even they'll throw Pat Connaughton on him just to
And I'll
nag
tell you
him,
what,
just to be a pest.
PJ Tucker was watching Pat Bev and taking notes.
But that's the thing, though, too. We saw D-Book, have a lot of trouble with Pat Bev. If they can imitate that, if they can still just disturb D-Book. I know D-Book was fresh off that injury, too, playing with the mask. That's tough, too. But Pat Bev did a great job of disturbing him, just getting under his skin, getting under, on the attack he had. So if they can mimic that, and they slow him down, that's something great. And like you said, I'm sure Drew took some notes. I'm sure they're watching and they're seeing, they're scouting. So it's but for the most part, it's still a fairly unpredictable series, and it's very tough to to decide on a winner because any team can take it, in my opinion. And it's been like all
my
playoffs.
prediction is Suns in 7.
Suns in 7.
I think we're gonna
At
get.
home.
I think we're gonna get a Game 7 final.
I would love that, man.
I think we're gonna get a Game 7 final. So I'm gonna go Suns in 7. You got Bucks in 6. The classic line.
Bucks in 6.
We're excited for it. Let's talk about some international basketball. Let's move over a little bit before we wrap up this week because there's a couple things you're sighing because you're embarrassed.
Not embarrassed. It's let down a little
you
bit,
should be
know?
embarrassed. I mean, your home country didn't qualify. My home country, Slovenia, we qualified. So I was very happy about that. I celebrated yesterday with my Slovenian brothers.
Well, what's the phrase that they were saying in the
Luka? Man, but yeah, let's talk about Canada being the second most NBA players on the roster in all of world basketball, and they do not qualify, and they lose to the Czech Republic to Thomas Sadaransky, who can't even get minutes on the Chicago Bulls. You have a roster of 8 NBA players, and Andrew Nicholson is your starting center.
Come on.
I'm not going to blame the coaching. I think this is a whole personnel thing, and this is terrible.
It just didn't work.
It's terrible for Canada basketball because we're known to be soft.
Yeah.
And for you to have that many NBA players, it just clearly goes to show every NBA Canadian player that played is just a role player. There's no guy. It was just Wiggins and then a bunch of role guys.
What sucks is that those role guys can't even beat guys who are not even role guys. You know what I mean? And you do to lose in OT against a Thomas Sadaransky shot, like, come on. And then
They shouldn't have even been in OT. They made a crazy comeback.
There's so much talent on that team. That's why it's frustrating. And Nick Nurse he's a great coach.
You were about to crap on him for a bit. You're like, he coaches the Raptors.
No. He's
I almost did that too. That's why I avoided the coaching.
It's tough to put together a team, in one summer and see what they can do. But everybody has that same problem. It just sucks. Nick Nurse was going on to say before the summer started that this is the golden era of Canada basketball, and yet they still can't even qualify for the Olympics. We are in the golden era. We've got so much great talent, but they just can't seem to piece it together, and that's the rough part. Sucks to miss guys like Shea, Jamal Murray, obviously. I think, you hope that they would have made a huge difference, even though we shouldn't need those guys to beat teams that we should have beat.
Yep.
So definitely disappointing, man. And then you see Slovenia, who has never qualified in their history.
I know.
They literally only have Luka.
We've been waiting a long time for this, man. Back home, it was just been a long time coming, and the fact that we were able to go there and be led by our guy,
it's about damn time for you guys.
Our 21-year-old. Man, it's been a long time coming for us to Slovenia. Viva Luka. That was what they were saying. But man, just insane. Luka made some headlines this week because he said he'd rather win a gold than win an NBA championship. He'd rather win gold for his country.
That's huge.
And I just want to explain to some people who may take offense to that you are Canadian, and whether you like it or not, there's no patriotism in this country.
Yeah.
At the very least, TSN or Sportsnet could have aired the qualifiers. They didn't.
Yeah.
They were impossible to watch.
Yeah.
Maybe not impossible because I think the last one was on CBC. But it goes to show you how they value the Canadian sports. Yeah. But when you come from a country that has patriotism and that much pride, and you wear your country on your sleeve, you understand it. A lot of soccer players would rather win the World Cup for their country than win their club title, right? So I get it. I'm not offended by it at all. I love it, and I want to see him get the gold. I don't think he'll get the gold, but I'll tell you what, man. I watched their highlights of the game that they qualified, and there's another guy on that team that's a sniper.
Yeah.
I don't know his name, but, man, he was impressive.
Yeah,
he was impressive. So I'm excited. I'm going to be watching that tournament. I think it's going to be good basketball. Nico Mannion, you remember that kid?
Yeah.
He's Italian.
Oh, wow. He's playing for Italy.
He's killing it. He led Italy past Serbia. They beat Serbia in Belgrade, Serbia.
And, I'm pretty sure OG plays for Team Nigeria.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, that's another big one, actually.
They qualified as well. So it'll be a fun tournament for sure. Fun finals, fun tournament, fun Euro Cup semifinals and finals as well.
Yes.
So a lot of good, exciting sports coming up. And obviously F1 is still always running.
Yeah.
But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are done for today. You know where to find us: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you can like a picture, send a DM. We are there. Subscribe. Let us know what you want to listen to, and we will come at you next episode.